This is a short video to help you do the extrapolation of data in Lab Report 2 when trying to determine absolute zero. So the first thing about setting up our graph is we're going to need a very long x-axis. So we're going to turn our graph paper sideways and make the long end of the paper the x-axis and make the short end of the paper the y-axis. Now our x-axis is going to represent temperature. That's our independent variable. Now this is going to have to be linearly scaled between -300 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius. So that's a 400 degree difference. So you need to scale your graph paper appropriately. Note, it has to be linear. They have to have the same difference between each block on the scale. About 3/4 of the way up, you have 0 degrees Celsius. That's where our y-axis is going to be. Now our y-axis, the dependent variable, is the length in millimeters of the column of air. This is going to scale between about 0 and 80 degrees, or 80 millimeters. Again, this has to be linear. It has to go from 0 to 80 millimeters, or somewhere above the top measure in the data. They have to be evenly spaced. The next trick is to plot your points. Now all of your points are going to be on the right side of the graph. They're all going to be above 0 degrees Celsius and significantly below 100 degrees Celsius. They're going to be clustered pretty close together, and they're not going to show a lot of difference in the height. That's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay? These represent the different heights of the column according to the temperature you applied to the column. Now, we want to then take the trend that this data shows and continue that trend until that line hits 0 millimeters in height. In other words, where it intersects the x-axis. Remember, the millimeters in height is representing the motion of the gas. The faster the gas moves, the higher the column height is going to get. So if we extrapolate this out to the extreme, where we go all the way to 0, what we are then looking at is what would be the temperature when the height of the column is 0 millimeters. We can then draw a line to that temperature, and that temperature represents absolute zero. So this should help you isolate out your absolute zero value from the data I've given you using a graph.